Christine, thanks for coming in.
My pleasure.
Great
I'm
to see
so
you.
excited.
Thanks for coming in again. I really appreciate you.
Of course.
How's everything going?
Good. Everything's pretty well. It's a crazy ride this year.
Like what?
Well, personally, my son got engaged. So
Awesome.
we've got
Congrats.
Thank you. Got wedding plans coming ahead, and my daughter's graduating nursing school. So
That's awesome.
It's like end of an era. No more babies, no more kids. They're all adults living on their own. So
Different life now.
yes, completely. It's like a big old house with just the two of us
That's
and a
good.
dog.
Yeah.
So,
They'll come back.
oh, always.
All right.
They do. That's the thing. It's like, what do we do? Do we sell, downsize? No, because they always, all their friends are here, so they'll always be back.
That's awesome. How was your daughter's trip to, where'd you go, Africa?
Zambia, yeah. She was in Africa for 2 weeks. She actually loved it. She said it was a big life-changing moment. So she's 22 and studying to be a nurse, and they did a mission over to Zambia and another part of Africa. So they were at 2 different locations. One was a camp for kids, and the other part was
It was a camp for kids?
it was a camp, like a not summer camp, but like the children in Zambia would attend for school/camp, and they came in and taught them self-hygiene. So they were teaching them like better ways to brush their teeth, and they gave them all health checks so that, to make sure that they were still healthy. Because I guess in Africa there's, they don't get much nutrition, so they need to make sure that they're nourished and hydrated. And if they're not, they get pulled out of the school and put on IVs and things like that.
Wow.
So so it was like, for her, I think eye-opening in a way, because that's not how we live here. But the kids, she said the kids were great. They were so like welcoming and loving towards them. The younger ones don't speak English yet, so they were a little bit more nervous. But the older ones have English, so they were able to communicate a little bit more and were able to get their like needs met in a different way.
Where did she get that from? Like going to?
It was through school. So the school offered the mission, and she applied. When in high school, she wanted to go to Lourdes she was at Kellenberg, and she got applied and got accepted to go, but then COVID hit and they closed out. They weren't able to go to Lourdes. In Lourdes, they were supposed to go help like the sick and infirmed get like dunked in the water, and the healing powers of the grotto and everything.
Sure.
So she wasn't able to do that, and I think she always wanted to have an opportunity to help others in the capacity that she could.
Well, she wants to be a nurse, obviously.
Yeah. So she's graduating in December. She's looking to stay south and go to a hospital for children. So she's focusing on like St. Jude's is her number one choice. So hopefully,
That's awesome.
Hopefully she'll get in. I don't know. There were 15,000 applicants and they only take 10. So say the prayers.
And not 10,000.
No, not 10,000, just 10. So
Wow.
yeah, she was.
I'm sure she'll do it. She'll get in.
I think so. She's very driven.
She is.
And she's, everyone. She said to me the other day, she's like, Mom, all the nurses at work, because she works through school. She's working in a hospital, and she said that the nurses keep asking her like, "What's your specialty going to be?" And she's like, "What do you think it should be?" And they all told her peds oncology, and that's exactly what she wants. She's like, and they said
That's
because
tough.
she has that calming demeanor,
She does,
and
yeah.
she always likes to play. So with kids like that have cancer, they need that calm, but they also miss the social interaction. So she brings both to the table.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. So that's my baby.
Anybody in your family that was nurses, doctors?
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
God bless her.
I know. I'm so
Good
proud
soul.
of her.
You have to be.
Yeah.
That's
And my 2
awesome.
boys too. I'm proud of them. Can't forget them.
Yeah, of course not. But that's awesome what she's doing. It's really special.
Yeah.
So she's gonna stay in Texas, or
No, she's gonna stay south. We'll see. There.
Where's St. Jude's?
St. Jude's is in Memphis.
She's talking about the primary. Okay.
Yeah, so we'll see. She has applications out pretty much any children's hospital
My
from
cousin's in
Texas
Duke.
south.
My cousin works for Duke, and I think does the same thing your daughter's looking to do, oncology for children.
Good to know.
Yeah,
I'll let
I'll
her
call
know.
her. I'll call
Yeah.
Kelly. So she's been there for 15 years now.
Oh, that would be good. Any connections will help.
Yeah.
That'll be even a little bit closer.
Maybe
than,
longer than that.
Yeah.
No, it has to be. She has to be there 20, 30 years.
What does she do?
Nurse. She's I guess a head nurse now
Okay.
in Duke. Right? Duke is in North Carolina? In
so.
like
Yeah.
Durham or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
where she's at.
That's closer to New York. I'll take it.
Yeah, that's
But
awesome.
we'll see what she decides.
So, oh, wow. So, well, it's not about your daughter, so it's about
No,
yours.
yes.
Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Queens, Bayside.
Oh, you grew up in Bayside?
Yeah, yep. We were there. My parents bought a house on 211th Street. I think I was probably, I don't know, little, 4 or 5. And then my sister was 3, and my brother was born in that house. So we stayed there until I was 13. And then we moved. My dad moved us to Garden City.
Garden City.
Yeah, so I got my Queens, like, you know, they can take the person out of Queens, but they can't take Queens out of the person. That's
Where'd you
pretty
go to
much
school
me.
in Queens?
I went to St. Robert's.
Oh, you went to Catholic school?
Yeah,
So
St.
you're like me.
Robert's
Okay.
to 8th grade, and then we moved to. I was supposed to go to high school. I was supposed to go to St. Agnes in
That's where Jeannie went.
Queens, and my dad had different plans. So
Moved
we
to Garden
ended up-
City, yeah?
Yeah, we moved to Garden City, and I still wanted to stick with the Catholic upbringing because that's all I knew. You know, I didn't know public school. I only knew public school in Queens, which,
Sure.
you know, is different than Catholic school. So when we moved, I was like, all right, Dad, what are we doing? Where am I going? And he was like, well, let's see if you could get into any of the Catholic high schools. But, you know, they all require the entrance exam, which I took, but I applied to all
the
Queens
Queens.
schools. So
That's when you had to apply to 3 or whatever it
Yep,
was?
yep. I
Whatever, took it
did
at the
St.
same time.
Agnes, St. Francis Prep, and
You had all 3 of them? Probably did, right?
yeah, what was the third one? It was Maria Regina, I think.
I was going to say, if I got all 3, you definitely got
Yeah,
all 3.
I got all 3 for sure. And I didn't even put St. Francis Prep first, and I
St.
got
Francis-
in.
Yeah, prep, you had to put it first
Yeah,
back
I
then.
didn't put it first.
Yeah, mine either. I got the prep, too. I got waitlisted, though, for prep.
Oh,
Because I was waitlisted for St. John's. Prep I got in. The second one was prep. No. I didn't put down St. John's. It was prep. And I got waitlisted for prep because it was Power Memorial, All Hallows, and prep.
so where'd you go?
All Hallows,
Where's that?
Bronx.
Oh, wow.
Played for hockey. It was a hockey school. So growing up, you played high school hockey. You had to
Yeah.
go.
You have to go where it is.
And prep was just starting the team, I think, back then. And they
Yeah,
asked me-
prep was more from what I remember when I was there, it was academics. It really wasn't sports yet.
It wasn't.
It kind of expanded into that, I think.
And Power and All
afterwards.
Hallows was all sports. Like
Yeah.
you had to win. It was, it was an all boys school, which was horrible, but you had to win.
Right.
They separated the two. It was like playing college in high school. It was interesting what they,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, high school sports can be like that. Like I know Chaminade's that way. My 2 boys graduated from there, and they had, you know, the competition was high
Yep.
academically, physically with the sports and everything. Like my son, my middle one, he was on the lacrosse team for 4 years. And by the time he finished his high school career, he was like, I'm hanging up my sticks. I'm kind of done with this. They won the championship, the national, all that stuff they won. And he's like, I'm finishing on a high note.
It's smart. Yeah.
And, you know, he played club in college, but after that he was like, I'm done.
Where'd you go to
So,
college?
I went to Trinity in Washington, D.C.
Okay.
It's an all-women's college. When I went there, it was very small. I always say, like, there's a difference between the rah-rah colleges and the small ones. I liked small. I liked to know who my teachers were. I made a great group of friends that I still have till today. And we, now it's a university. So I'm pretty proud of that. And
That is
we've
cool.
got some it was a great spot for me at the time. It's a little different now, but still a very good school.
When did you meet your husband?
We
in college?
met
Well, not in college, obviously.
After college. I lived in D.C. for a while, so I graduated with a business degree and a minor in economics and marketing, and I stayed in the D.C. area, D.C. Maryland area, for about a year and a half, and then my grandparents got sick, and I started missing home, so I moved back up to New York, and that move, I think it was in 91, I moved back home. And it was like humbling, because you're away from home for so long.
Sure.
You're on your own. You're doing all your things, and then to like move back to your house where you grew up, and not even in your own old room. I moved into my brother's old room, and it was challenging.
Different, yeah.
Very different, because it was like I'm an adult, so I was coming and going, and my grandmother was like, "You're coming home for dinner?" I'm like, I don't know.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe. No, I need an answer. Okay, then no. Well, why aren't you? It's like all the Sicilian grandmas, they always need to feed you. But then that's where we met. So my sister was friends. My sister had a good group of friends. She was still in college when I moved back. And one of her friends was my husband.
Oh, wow.
And they were always over the house and stuff, hanging out. And I just kind of like, it's opposite, like, because I was the oldest and she's the middle. So I was hanging out with her friends, whereas, like,
opposite,
it is very opposite. So that was a little humbling as well. And then one night he just called, and back then there were no cell phones, so there was the phone on the wall.
That's right.
And he called, and I answered, and I'm like, oh, hold on, I'll get my sister. He's like, no, I wanted to know if you wanted to go out for dinner. And I was like, what?
That's funny.
So that's, we went out for dinner, and then we started dating, and fast forward 3 more years after that, we got engaged, and now we're married 30 plus years.
God bless.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Thanks.
That's awesome.
It is. It's like, I feel like that's an accomplishment. My mom died when I was 12, so my parents only hit 15 years wedding anniversary, and I think like every year after that is a win for us, because that's where their life ended.
Sure.
So.
Sorry about that.
It is what it is, It's like at that point, like at 12, you don't know what you don't know.
Sure.
I still don't know what I don't know, and sometimes I don't even know what I don't miss. But other times it just kind of like hits you, and like certain things, like my son's got engaged and getting married, and it's like, yeah, do I wish my mom was here? Sure, and yet we have other things that we can fill that void. I've got really good friends' moms, and
Unfortunately, I'm there too. I lost my mom at 97, so I was 27 years old. I had a little bit more time.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter though. Mom's mom.
Exactly.
So we all go through it. It's tough, and I'm so sorry you had to go through that at such a young age. When did you get into what kind of work did you do out of high school?
So out of high school,
Out of high school, out of college. What did you do? You came home to Garden City?
I came home to Garden City. Well, when I graduated, I got into finance. So my goal really was to be a stockbroker. I really didn't know much about it or even how to get involved in it. But that from TV shows and whatever, I'm like, I can do this. I want to analyze and learn more about the economy and how that affects everything. And
So this is the 90s we're talking about.
Yes, I graduated in '89. So do the math, but be kind.
Mm-hmm.
I went and applied to all of the brokerages down in DC. I ended up working for a company called Prudential Beige, which is no longer. Yeah. It got bought out. I don't know by who, but I started there as a sales assistant. So I was working for brokers or financial advisors.
What was that like?
It was interesting. I really enjoyed it. It was more admin work than hardcore studying the stocks and suggesting investments. I couldn't do that because I didn't have the license. But
did you ever get the 60? Was it 63?
It's a 7
and
a
a 63. Right?
I didn't.
You never got it.
I attempted to take it twice. My mind wasn't there. I just wasn't in that right place to go back to school and study. It was I don't even know
I
how
remember
many
that, yeah.
hours the course was.
Tough course.
But it was hard, and not everybody passes. So the 7 was difficult. The 63, I think I probably could have passed. That's the
That was the insurance
licensing
part, right?
test. Yeah, mutual funds,
Yeah.
things like that. So I worked there for about a year and a half, and at that time, like my grandmother got sick, my grandfather wasn't well, and my sister's like, you have to come home. You should come home. And I'm like, stop. I like it here. I'm having fun. And so I took my experiences there, and when I moved back to Garden City, I applied to all of the brokerages on Franklin Avenue in Garden
okay.
City. I was a little too chicken to go right
To
into the
Manhattan.
city.
Yep.
But so I sent out cover letters with resumes, and one of the office managers called me from Dean Witter and hired me. And from there, I was working for like two or three of the top financial advisors in the office. And I started working with the branch manager as his like second assistant. So I kind of got my hands into all sorts of things,
Like
which
what?
is
Compliance? And
compliance, how to run the office, making sure the paperwork was all signed properly, filling out all the new account stuff, transferring assets in, transferring out, things like that was mainly. It wasn't like the glory of
Sure.
shorting a stock or anything like that, but the guys were doing it and they were having fun with it. So I was learning and doing all that. Then we got engaged, got married. I stepped away from that whole field and we bought a house, got a dog, got pregnant.
That's awesome.
And the rest was,
History.
it. Then when the kids were younger, I guess my daughter was in 2nd grade, I went back to work.
Where'd you go?
Part-time, back to finance.
Oh, you're back.
Yeah,
Okay.
because it doesn't change. Like a dividend's a dividend, a stock's a stock.
Yep.
The paperwork's all the same. So it was one of those industries that I felt I had a good background in. I could just go right in and
What was the difference
not
back
skip a beat.
when you left to when you went back? Was there any difference? Any regulations changed? Or
Not really. Not like us. Not with how things have changed in the course of the last
were you
3
around
years.
for the boiler rooms and all of that?
They
I'm not probably didn't work for them.
It was
obviously.
out east, like outside of Manhattan.
That's what it was.
We were more not luxury, but high, wealthy
Clients. and-
clientele. We were managing their portfolios more so than calling out prices on the floor of the exchange. So it was like they'd call in and be like, the stock is going up, we want to sell, or stuff like that. And we'd have to write the ticket
Sure.
and put it in, and then the ticket guy will, send it to the exchange and get the price. But it was more servicing. It was more customer service with the clients, front facing there, as
Okay.
opposed to,
When did you get back into it? What year was it?
oh gosh.
Still 90s or 2000s?
Yeah,
at that point?
90. No, it was Elizabeth was. It was 2004, 2005, maybe.
So you were right after the dot-com boom, I guess.
I guess. I don't know.
Right, because you had the dot-com boom, and then that went.
Yeah. But still, I went to a boutique financial advising
So it didn't
firm.
really, yeah.
So it was still very much, I was very insulated
Yeah.
from the,
You were looking at more.
right.
Yeah.
Not anything like Wolf of Wall Street. Nothing like
Yeah,
that.
not like that. Obviously. Yeah, I didn't think you were
Because
that.
I wasn't licensed, so I wouldn't even be able to do those types of trades.
Correct.
But when I got back into it, I started just basics because it was part-time.
Okay.
I wanted to be home for the kids when they got home from school. So I started, front desk, kind of like paying my dues all over again, but worked my way up. Eventually left. When I left, I was marketing and communications director for the company. And then
Okay.
my good friend Gina, she was like, "You need to get your license.
Can I ask you, when did you get into real estate?
2016.
Wow.
Yeah, 2016 I got in.
Okay.
Got my license then. She was like harping on me for years before and was like, you'd be really good at this. You should do it. You know so many people. I'm like, the people I know, you know. So
You don't want me stealing your shit. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. But it was the right time. My kids were in high school, and I was always afraid to leave the salary because my husband makes a good living, and he's supported us throughout. But my salary was kind of compensating for their Catholic high school tuition, all their lacrosse, travel lacrosse, all that stuff was kind of like on me, so he wouldn't have to work so many crazy hours overtime. When I left the salary, I didn't have a choice but to start bringing in the money.
Some cash.
Yeah, so I started in 2016. I had, I think, 3 deals under contract by the end of 2016, and I was doing a dual career. So I was still working part-time with the financial advising company and building the real estate business at the same time. And then 17, 18.
How hard was that?
It wasn't that hard. I balanced it out where I was getting up really early, getting all the work off my plate for the paying job and getting it done. So I wasn't working. I was kind of working from home before working from home was a thing.
Sure.
So I was getting that all done ahead of time, and then I had pretty much the whole day to focus on, lead generating, finding the buyers, helping them, schedule showings, doing all that stuff. So it was really like I was already full-time in August of 2016, and then I quit my job at the end in December of 16.
So besides
went
Gina,
full-time.
why'd you join Keller?
Because Gina told me to.
I was going to say, besides that, yeah.
Why did I stay? Because I really liked the company. I liked what it stood for. I do like what the growth. So Gina and I met when our kids, who are now 24.
You live next to each other, right?
Well, we live in the same town.
Yep.
Our kids were in 2nd grade when we met. They're now out of college and gainfully employed, thank the Lord. So they're 24 years old now. So we've been friends for however many years that is. I don't do math. And through that course of time, I've watched her grow at Keller. So she told me, she left Remax and joined Keller Williams, I think, in 2015. And I came shortly after 2016, 2017. But the growth that she had from 2015 to 2016 when I joined was amazing. Just, she completely immersed herself with the company and went to all the conferences, did all the things. And I was like, that's what I've been waiting for. The financial industry is great. I think any industry is great. But when you don't have a leader that is investing in the people, you're just don't going to work, right? So I think at Keller Williams, it's different because it's not just about what we're doing for the company. It's what the company does for us. And that makes a big difference. Whether you're leadership, which I was and still am, whether you're sales, you still feel it. You feel the difference, the people starting from, market center level all the way up to Austin, KWRI. Everyone has your best interest at heart, which is refreshing because you can't say that at every company. Most companies are like, this is mine and I'm not sharing and you have to go figure it out for yourself. Whereas here, as a brand new agent, I was getting thrown leads. And I tell my coaching clients this all the time. I got a lead. Remember Janie Davis?
Oh.
She
was talking about it. Yeah.
She was going on vacation, and she handed me this lead. It was literally on a Post-it note. She's like, call this guy. And she's like, I called him. He didn't answer. Give him a call. I was like, okay. She's like, I'm going on vacation. See what you could do. If you close the deal, just pay me 25%. I was like, okay. And that was all the mentoring, all the whatever I got was that.
Yep.
And she left. And I called him, finally got him on the phone. We set an appointment to meet. And fast forward, he signed a buyer rep agreement with me like that day with his wife, and we started looking at houses. That was my very first client. And I, got him to the closing table. At the closing table, he said to me, when we first met, we both agreed before we walked in the door, and this was at Greater Nassau, I had them come up on a Saturday and met there. And he's like, before we even walked in the door, we both agreed we weren't going to sign anything. He's like, but I don't know how you did it, but you got us to sign everything and commit to working with you until we found our house. And I'm so happy we did. And I was
That's
like,
awesome.
I'm happy you did too. So they're still living in the same house. They have 2 kids, and we still stay in touch.
Got to get them to sell it.
Well, one day, maybe. Yeah. But the caveat of it was a Zillow lead. And I had no idea. I just knew that this top agent who had an office, handed me this lead and I wasn't going to let her down. And I just kept at it, right? So I tell my clients that all the time. I'm like, it doesn't matter where the lead comes from. You just need to be persistent, professional, and be yourself, and the business will happen.
That's right.
And, had I known it was a Zillow lead, would it have turned out differently? Maybe, but still, it's all mindset, right? So, it's like you really can. Once you focus on it and you put your mind to it, you can pretty much do whatever you want.
So 2016, you get into the sales.
Yes.
When did you end up in leadership?
When? 2019. So 2018, early 2019, I took career visioning for the first time.
Correct.
With, it was in Westchester with Justine Lazara. She was the teacher. And
She's awesome.
She is. And I was sitting in that class, and Mike Marciano was sitting next to me. And I was just like so impressed with the opportunities that were out there. So, fast rewind a little bit. When I started at Keller, my first application was before I got licensed. Gina sent in my resume for the DFI position.
Oh, wow.
And no one ever got back to me.
I didn't know about that.
So Linda was the TL. I think she had a VA that was vetting, and they never gave me a call. So
interesting. Was Byron was Lauren there at that time, or was she already gone?
Don't know.
Because Lauren was the original DA, right? She was the original.
I only know Linda. When I started, it was Linda, and Sue Ford was recruiting for Woodbury. That's when I started.
So yeah, I guess Lauren.
So I think Lauren was in Massapequa
already.
Right?
Yeah. Or Ozone Park, one of the two.
Massapequa.
Then she went to Ozone Park.
Yep.
But she started out as our DAS.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah, Lauren Byron. I love her. She was awesome.
Wow.
Still is.
Yeah, she is. She's a great person. Yeah. Happy to know her.
You still talk to her, obviously?
I do. Not as much as I'd like to. Facebook, message, text, things like that. But yeah, so that's when I started. I that was my first application in, and then I got my license, came in as an agent, but I always had my eye on the TL role.
Well, you wanted the MCA role at one point too, right?
Well, I wanted leadership, and I figured that could be a way in.
Okay.
Sue was the one that was pushing.
That's what it was.
MCA for me, because I think she kind of, I said to her, she's like, what do you want to do? I'm like, well, I've always been more towards leadership and, things like that. And she was like, well, maybe, she's like, I need an MCA, to open the office. She's like, would you be interested in that? I'm like, well, that sounds like a great opportunity to just get in on the ground floor and do something I've never done before. So sure, I'll do that. And then, it took a turn, but that's okay, because I'm happy where my path led me. So in 2019, career visioning, the light bulb went off, like that I saw the opportunities that are all available at Keller Williams as a whole. Like, because I was there with a bunch of different agents from our market center, agents from all over, and the different opportunities that...
Did we own Manhattan yet, or...?
No.
We still
Woodbury wasn't even open yet.
Oh, it wasn't?
No.
Oh, that's way in the beginning then.
Yeah. It's like 18, 19. Maybe Woodbury just started opening in 19. Because I moved my license at the end of July of 2019.
I forgot that how fast we really grew.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys did.
We grew really fast.
Yeah.
We went from Garden City to Woodbury and then boom.
Right. And then it was just like no holding back.
Yeah. Just boom, 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 just weird. And then slowed down
Not
a
weird.
little bit.
It was a plan.
Yeah, it was a plan, but it was weird how it happened so quick.
Yeah.
Because my original thought was never New York City. I never wanted New York City. I wanted just to control Long Island and work Long Island. Maybe get into Queens and go that
Wild
route.
West.
Yeah, I love Queens though. Queens is like my
it's your
Bayside
home.
guy and
Right.
a Whitestone guy, so I always loved it. But when New York City came in, that really turned the dial for us.
It did.
So I think it was, Garden City, Woodbury, Franklin Square,
Yes.
and then New York City.
Well, from the outside in, I felt like it was both at the same time for a little bit.
Franklin Square and New
And
York City.
Manhattan. Yeah.
Might
I
be
think you
right.
were involved in that before it was.
Because Lauren
fully
got me into
announced.
Manhattan.
So I was in Woodbury.
I always wanted you as a TL. You were afraid to be a TL
I
at one point.
was. Yeah.
I would be too.
Well, I do love you, Rich. But yeah, it was. You've changed a lot, though.
No, I did. No.
So from the time I met you in 2017
Totally different.
till 2023, 24, when I came in as TL, you were a completely different person
I agree.
in my eyes.
I agree.
So yeah, well, I was afraid before that.
I don't know if it's for good or the bad.
It was after when you changed. I don't know what happened in your world. Okay, so let's flip the page. What happened in your world,
What's
Rich?
this podcast going here?
What happened in your world, Rich, that caused you to change?
I don't know.
Because there was, a couple things that I've noticed from the outside looking
I think
in.
mature. Maturity, I think we had enough. Or I guess we got, I don't want to say complacent. I don't want to say comfortable. I felt that more people I can trust were in the position, like yourself, Lauren, at that time. I think everything was going smooth, so you were able to adjust. Like we were just talking about this yesterday. Julie was on the call, and times change, right? So one of the questions was, why wasn't it like this when we were here? And why is it like it today? Because, again, everything changes in leadership.
Would you say you're less driven now?
No. I think I'm always.
Well, you are always driven,
Yeah,
but has the prize changed?
It did, but now it changed back, if that makes sense. So I
How?
stopped for a little bit because I wanted to get in control of what I had. I didn't want to overgrow. So when I originally went into the growth pattern, it was, like I said, it was just Long Island.
Right.
And grow at Long Island. Then I saw so many opportunities when New York City came on, and the vision became, okay, now that I got New York City, I can pretty much have a market center in every state, and it can link with New York City. And I had that mindset. And then I got the mindset, well, why would I want to do that? It's just too much pressure on me. Why would I want to have 5? Because, again, I also believe you need a certain amount of market centers to really be successful in this model at a high level, because, it's not that you're picking on each other, but you end up, if you're one and you're surrounded, you could end up, and especially by one entity, it's hard to succeed, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
So my mindset was, okay, anything you do, you got to own at least 4 or 5 of them. So build it up to that, and then you control it. So by controlling Long Island, I figured, like, okay, now I control Manhattan, Brooklyn, and I can build those out. And that's what we're in the process now. So now I'm back in that mindset. I think with the Stone Point, when they merged in and bought, Keller, I got the growth mindset again, where it's, okay, what is it going to look like? How many market centers can we grow? Where do we grow? Where's the strategic plan on growing? Where do Jeannie and I become partners in out of state, and how to roll it in all into one? I got into the ancillary businesses with the title, with the bank.
Would you say that was a distraction?
It was a much needed distraction, though. But yes.
Okay. So it was when you.
I like the way you turned this here.
Once a coach, always a coach.
There you go.
But this is great because this is stuff I never heard. When you were building in Manhattan and stuff, I think that piece of it, and you could tell me if I'm wrong. Well, you will tell me if I'm wrong. There was more stress involved. And that's really, at that point, was when I was like, there's no way I want to work for you, because you were just a different person.
I don't know if there was
think you were-
stress. I wouldn't say stress, because I try not to get stressed out.
Well, maybe not stress.
I
but
get a
more,
mindset where I got to win.
Okay.
And it's at any cost. Like I am
And
not, I don't care
that's-
who you are.
That's what we were feeling.
And I really, I mean this in the kindest way. I don't care if you're the #1 social media guy. My goal is to take you out. I was a sports guy, so it's just, look, anything that happens on the player field, it stays there. I don't take anything personal. I don't, everything was a competition to me.
Right.
And I also felt that, and I honestly feel this way, that Keller Williams, it's our own competition. It's no one else is involved, because nobody's got the model that we have. So it's pretty much lights out. We win.
Right.
So I had that mindset.
Sure, at
and
your
I still do.
at your level,
Yeah,
for sure.
I still have that mindset where you're foolish not to join us because we have the best model. You know, the Kaplan model, we were just talking about this, is the best model you can possibly have. When I was an agent, I wanted every single deal. You know, Gina was talking about this earlier. I would drive an hour and a half for a $1,000 rental or $500 rental. I wanted to win.
Right.
I was just about the deal and, you know, getting my client what they wanted. And I think that happened with market centers.
Right. Yeah. So you took that same drive
And put it towards
and
that.
put it towards the market centers. But now that you have like your core organization past the core four, right? You've got Brooklyn, Manhattan.
Sure.
What's next?
That's when you go into different states. And well, there's so much more to build in New York too, and get it back online, and you know, getting our model and everything that we're going, taking it to the next level. And how do you do that? That's with ancillary businesses. I think with title, with insurance, with financial services like the bank, and you know, with Cliffco. And then maintaining the relationships I always had, because I don't want to burn those either, because I really always try to play well in the sandbox. You know, even though I own Cliffco, I still work with other banks. I have to, right? You know, same thing with title. And then I have to do it a way where I don't want to be the center of attention to that either, right? So that's the difficult part too. You know, always being in control and knowing that you can't be in control of those.
Right.
Because you have to have a line on
Well, you have
partners.
to find the people like you found in the core
Right.
for those other businesses.
That's all it is.
And then grow
And then
it
I
from
think
there.
it's really good coaching I've had in growing this, because, again, like you, I did not start out as a real estate agent. Or a real estate broker. Work-wise, I don't consider playing a sport work. I think I got my leadership values from sports. I think I got my discipline. You know, the hard work, I think, comes from that, growing up in that world. But then starting out in the elevators and realizing, shit, this is not for me. I don't like being 50 stories up in the air, stacking rails. You know, so let's do something a little easier. Let's join the police department.
Yeah,
So,
just get shot at.
yeah, let's do that.
Instead of falling
Literally,
off
twice. That's another story. But, you know, you go to the police department and then you find out. And that's the other thing I said. After you deal with that life and you retire from it, and you meet all of these great people, and God rest his soul to my partner that passed away, Frankie. There's so much more, like when you're dealing with stress on that job, where this is a joke.
So stress was a bad word before, but I think your drive is what.
And it's not a bad word, but a lot of people do have stress.
The leadership you've learned there, I
Rank
see
and file.
that models, in how you've built and grown.
Yeah, I don't. It's not that I don't respect people that don't do it, but I believe. And you've seen this. It's the rank and file. So you go to the person that you're supposed to go to. I never really entertain people going over other people's heads and coming to me. You have to listen, but you're like, gotta take it with a grain of salt. You know that shit. You listen, and I find when you listen to it, you get yourself in more trouble by not listening to the people you put in.
Yes.
Right. So it's
on the other side of that table. Yes.
Yeah, you do. So but again, I wouldn't change my life for anything. I'm very happy with the way it went. Police department, real estate, and then brokerage. And the funny thing is Jeannie and I never wanted this. We never wanted. I wanted a market center, but I never wanted to be an OP, or an operating partner, operating manager, to everybody out there that.
So what would you want? How would you be in a market center?
I just wanted to be an investor.
Oh, okay.
I just wanted to be an investor, and we figured, let's just build a business and focus on that. And a lot of people don't know this either. We got out of production for a long time because I didn't want to compete with the agents.
Right. Well, I think too, and I know this for myself, in building something from the ground up, your focus needs to be laser focused on that, right? So it's like the one thing you have to focus on, such that by doing it, everything else becomes easier. So when I stepped into coaching, my sales business suffered until I was able to get the coaching to where I was earning enough money to then refocus on
Your business.
lead generating for my business. So I
what-
think that
what would
could
you
have happened the same way with you.
So now I'm going to roll it back to you now. Back into your court here. What was the difference between being a coach and a team leader? And then as an agent?
So the difference between coach and team leader for me, what is, as a coach building my own business, I only answered to myself and my coach in terms of what the business looked like, who I was bringing in. I had full control over all of it. If I didn't gross 5 one month, I made it up the next month, or even 2 months later. And I was working with the agents. We had a relationship, to an extent, a partnership with every agent that I coach. It's a partnership to build their business. With the team leader role, I felt like it was different because the agents weren't necessarily mine. I didn't bring them in. They saw me as someone different. So it was stepping into the TL role in the market center that I not really grew up in. I grew up in the Garden City Market Center, but like everybody saw me as a coach and the culture person and, this happy, bubbly person. And then when you step into a role where you can't always be happy because there's lots of other things that you're dealing with, it changes. So I think that piece of it, the mindset piece for me, was in the coaching world, I was building something for myself, for my family. In the TL world, you're answering to so many more people. And it's not just the leadership above. It's the ALC. It's the agents. It's like you sneeze wrong or you wear something weird. That's not me.
That's fine.
So I like, family too played a part in that too. Having to focus on things at home a little bit more. But I'm happy I took that path.
Yeah.
I'm thrilled to learn. I always wanted to learn the ins and outs of what made a market center tick, and now I have that. Would I go back to it one day? Maybe. Not yet.
My biggest regret was not being a TL.
Yours?
Yeah.
How so?
I thought that was
You felt like you skipped over
Yeah.
a role?
I did. It feels that way to me for somehow. Because I honestly think that, I'm not saying you need to, but it just, me being such an accountable guy, I wish I knew what they really go through.
Well, if you would have let people hold you accountable when you were TL, you would know.
If I was, but I was never TL.
No, you were interim TL.
Yeah, but that's not the same thing. I'm holding myself accountable.
Right. That's what I said. If you let someone else hold you accountable at that point.
But you know what the funny thing is? I hit my numbers when I was an interim TL. At least I think I did.
I don't know.
Julia's
I
laughing.
think there's a couple of other people that could say they hit your numbers for you.
Still the TL gets credit for it.
Exactly.
But it's interesting. I wish I knew the day-to-day is working for somebody in that role to see it as an OP and then see it through their eyes, because again, you're right. If you don't go through it and you're not accountable to it, it's not hard to hold somebody accountable, but
Right, to not understand what they're going through on a day-to-day
I
could
can
be
see
a
where
little
you
bit
become
more.
a little insensitive to them. And,
Right, it desensitized to the role.
Yeah, it does. And it's the same thing with an MCA, and there's no way I'm ever doing that job.
No.
I could do it. It's just that.
No, you couldn't. You couldn't sit behind a desk
That's the problem. I
for that long.
couldn't. No, I'm saying the financial part I can do. I understand
Well, yeah,
it.
the numbers piece, but to
understand the
sit
numbers
there
piece.
and do the processing piece.
There's no way I would shoot myself in
Yeah.
19 different ways because it was just, it's just too much for me. It takes a special cat to do something like that.
100%.
I don't know how you would have done that. Trying to
Well,
get to the
I
MCA
like to
role.
find that last penny.
Yeah.
I'm determined to do that. The processing piece, I think I would probably find fun as a distraction from everything else that you have to do as an MCA. You're still dealing with the agents. You're still dealing with the TL.
Yep.
You're still doing all that. And then at the same time, you're running the financial aspect of a business.
Most important role sometimes. I think it's the TL and the MCA. That's what keeps us running. I'm
100%.
surprised how we do it so lean, too. How we're able to do
Yes.
it. Where you're doing it, in such a lean way.
Right.
And it's It's an interesting model. It really is.
It is, and
It really is.
and back to your question about why Keller Williams, it wasn't really so much why I chose it. I feel like it chose me. However, I think why I'm still here is because of the way the models are, and because of the people that are in the roles and the agents that are in the offices that are part of our family. It just makes for a different feel of a company. It's not corporate at all. It's not everyone's out for themselves, because we're all out to help each other, and we all really want to see everybody else win. At least that's for me. That's why I got into the coaching piece, is because I like to see. I like to look back at the agents I've coached. Some are cappers, one's on the ALC now, and I could say I had a role in getting that person what she wants. I was just texting her yesterday, and I was like, wow, I'm so proud you're finally living your big life. I was trying to get her to come on a call with me, with my agents, to show the growth as a dual career, from a dual career to ALC. And she's like, I can't, I'm traveling, I'm visiting my kids, I'm out in Montauk. I'm like, I am so proud of you, because when we first met, she was closing 2 deals a year.
God bless.
And that's it. So that, to me, is why I still do what I do. I want to help agents grow, to run, and build their big life.
So, I don't think I asked you this. What drove you into the coaching? Like, why did you really want to get into that? Like,
I know everybody says it like it's a bad thing.
no, I think it's a great thing.
I love it.
Because I think I would rock it. I think you rock it in it, and I think it's a position where you could do very well, and it's very. I think it's very satisfying too, to help somebody and get them to where their dreams go.
Yeah. Once upon a time, I wanted to be a teacher.
Okay, I can see
and
that.
then I realized I didn't like kids.
So you became a coach,
I
and you still
became a
don't like
coach.
kids.
I still don't like kids. I raised my kids, and I tolerated their play dates and stuff. However, now as a coach, I'm coaching adults. So there's a different type of an accountability piece there, where, like, with kids, it's like, did you do it? Did you do it? Did you do it? With adults, I tell them all that I raised my kids, and I am proud to say, and you can ask any one of my 3, did mom ever sit down and do homework with you? And they'll say no. And I say that to my coaching clients. I'm like, I will not sit there and do your work for you. I will meet you halfway, show you where to find this stuff, and expect you to find it there next time.
Yep.
So that's just the way I do it. And they're like, okay, that's great. I can do that. Some are like, no thanks, because, maybe their moms help them with their homework. But those that are driven enough to partner with me to help them get to where they want to be are the ones that will succeed. And it's truly because of the accountability that I place on them. It's definitely a partnership. I take responsibility for them maybe not knowing something or doing something where if I had known they were going to do it, I could have coached them differently on it. And we'll work from there and learn together, communication and things like that. But it's truly like the coaching for me is like training, is watching people grow into something else, which is really like what a teacher would do anyway, but it's adults.
It's interesting. Where, back to the real estate part, where do you see the market going in the next year?
I have no idea. It's tough. It's I feel like I came in a seller's market in 2017. I've never experienced a buyer's market. It's either been flat or sellers. COVID was really exciting, interesting. Some of my clients had their best years during COVID times. And then rolling out of that, mindset for agents have changed. The newer agents have a different mindset than the newer agents before COVID. So in that respect, I don't know. Buyers have a different mindset. Sellers, some here in New York, they don't know where to go if they were to sell. I think we're going to be in this seller's market for a while, unless something big happens to change it.
Yeah, I think it's the rates. And because this morning I was watching, I forgot what station I was watching. They were talking about the real estate market, national. They're not talking, local. And what they were saying is right now I think it's 10-to-1 value, where it's 10 houses to, well, there was 10 buyers to every one house.
Yeah.
And they expect it to be switched very soon and shortly, and it's already starting to happen in the different parts of the United States where it's the opposite, where it's 10
Really?
houses to every buyer.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's starting to turn into that buyer's market. I think Long Island is its own beast. I think it's different than the city, and I've noticed that where I think the city treads off of Long Island.
Yeah,
in
I
some
think,
way.
well, I don't know the city market at all, but I can only imagine that because it's the city, there's a lot of transients in terms of worker, like established people coming in because they got a job transfer, people leaving because they're going to a
Somewhere else.
different work for a different company in Chicago. So I think that it's more fluid. There's more inventory opening up at certain times because of that. But like out on Long Island, unless you're dying or growing your family, the inventory for like the first time home buyers is tough. It's like, I look at I bought my house in 95, and my kids, if they were to buy a house on Long Island, would be paying 4 times what
It's insane, right?
bought my house for the same house.
Insane.
It's insane. And I have family, like friends, whose kids are looking to buy, and the parents are like, "That's the house we have. We paid $350 for. I can't allow you to pay $750 for the same house."
Right.
And yet, that's the market. So I think it's an interesting world out there now.
Last question. What kind of advice would you give to somebody new coming into the business?
I would say focus on the activities that are necessary to get your goal, set your goals. Make sure you're clear on what your goals are, and stay true to that. Don't waver on your goals, and then get a coach.
How often do you set your goals?
I still have the same goal. I look at it all the time, and I work on focusing on getting back on track to meeting it.
Chris, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you. This was so much
Love
fun.
you, appreciate you, and I
course.
love the way you role reverse that.
Once a coach, always a coach.